Good morning, everybody. Oh, good afternoon, good evening, good middle of the night. Welcome to Yvonne's Love Stream Walks. Walking each other home today at Blair Loch, or the Loch of Blairs as it's sometimes called. So I can see Tom, and I think there's a couple of others on too. And yeah, it's very lovely and lush and green. There's quite a wind blowing, not a hoolie, but getting there. And so I decided that we would come inland today. But yeah, lovely to see you. Gosh, we're nearly at the end of July. This time next week it will be the last day of July. What happened to 2026? I haven't even got used to saying 2026 yet. But look, we're going to walk up this nice little narrow deckway here through the reeds so that we can see the loch. And you can see the wind. It's a lovely sound. Very refreshing. Everywhere these beautiful, tall, slender reeds. Is nobody else going to say hello to me today? Who are you out there? Come on down, come on in. Beautiful stand of trees here. Cloudy day. Bonnie, Bonnie and Kendall and Peggy. Welcome. Yeah, I'm seeing all these reeds. I'm minded of a biblical story, isn't it? Moses in the bulrushes. God, that's coming back from my very old Sunday school days. But look, it's lovely here with all the trees. I've been almost right round the loch before we started, and I couldn't find any swans. I don't know where they've migrated to. But here's one of the three hides. Hi, Susan. That's the lovely friends of Blair Loch have built. And a bit later we'll be seeing one of their new constructions. I always love to see what they're up to. I notice, I don't know whether it's a generalization or a sexist comment, but men do seem to love a project. And don't we love them for loving a project? Hello, Brant. Yeah, so here I'm at the loch side, and you can see there's a lovely ripple of wind. There's a few little ducks, that's all I can see. And then this bird hide that takes us up to give a very nice little view out like that. Yeah, where do swans go on vacation? That's a good question. But I love the way looking through the hide gives us this view. Hi, Olive. We're at Blair Loch. I hope I posted today on Facebook saying where we were going. I hope it came up. Hi, Alice. Yes, I'm at Blair Loch today. It's quite windy. Not a day for the beach, that's for sure. And hey, big news, everybody. I went to see the Odyssey last night. I just took myself off. I got in the car, drove to Inverness, and watched the 3-hour epic. I have to say I liked it. I mean, a little bit, had to close my eyes only a couple of times, but what an epic, symbolic story. And I'm really glad I listened to the director, Mr. Nolan, I can't think of his first name, talk about it beforehand, because it reminded me to look for certain things. Oh, Swansea, Carly, very clever. Anyway, we'll leave this bird hide for now and head off. This one is called Osprey, bird hide. Oh, good. Thanks, Bonnie. I'm glad that it appeared. At one time I couldn't see it and I thought, oh, I don't know what's happened. Anyway, here we are walking down the gangway, but not onto a boat. And this lovely sound. Beautiful swaying in the breeze. Yeah, just delightful. No colour here like we had last week with all the different coloured flowers at the park. No, there's no intermission, Peggy. You just have to make sure you don't drink too much. Hello, Elaine. Nice to see you. Yes, don't have a big drink before you go in. A couple of people had to nick out in the middle, but no, there's no interval. I thought it was worth it. But very symbolic of the, the journey home. The journey home on many levels, and which brings me to the quality we're walking with this week, which is the quality of awakening. And of course, this angel here is awakening on the very physical level. Elaine, we're at Blair Loch, which is just outside the town of Forres. I don't know where you are. Heading towards Granton-on-Spey, but not very far out of town. And it's a beautiful little loch. And I'm just heading back towards one end of it. And as I was saying, the quality of awakening, well, yes, of course, we wake up every day and then we go back to sleep. But of course, on a spiritual level, we're talking about something completely different. And I do wonder what you think of when we talk about awakening. I mean, Eileen would probably couch it in terms of awakening to our divinity within, which she talks about today, actually, or this week, in Opening Doors Within. And for me, it's awakening to the fact that it's a great mystery, of course, but there is one consciousness and we're born into a body. And in a way, from that moment on, there's a separation from the one consciousness, and our awakening is to journey back to that, back home to the one consciousness. And we don't have to die to our physical body to wake up to that. We can become very aware of our multi-dimensionality and be aware that we are one and we are also an individual. Dorothy McLean used to always say it's the unity in the diversity. It's the unity in the diversity. Never forget that. Now, Maggie, if you're on, you're probably despairing at the amount of rhododendrons or roddies that are in this part of the estate, because this is part of the Altyre estate, one of the many big estates around this part of Scotland. But yeah, this notion of awakening to our true essence, beyond the mortal coil, as Shakespeare would say. You're moving to Forres, Elaine. Well done. Well, you can visit this little loch, and we'll get back to the lake or the loch in a moment. But I love wandering here, and I'll be back. I'll be back when the heather comes out, which will be probably another month. But we're just wending our way through here. And I was just saying goodbye to some of the Experience Week people. I think I told you there was 18 of them this week, and it was so great to see people from Korea and Hong Kong, Croatia, Hungary, Brazil, Germany, the United States, England, all coming together and just realizing, yeah, we are all one. And every single one of them, I always ask, well, did it reach your expectations? And some people say, well, I had no expectations. And others say, way exceeded my expectations. So if any of you have, and one of the ladies, Hella, she, you know, I knew her face, and she's come back to do it a second time. So you can always come back and do Experience Week a second time. It's slightly different in its format. They said the food was brilliant, created by Daisy. Thank you, Daisy. And yeah, so it went really well, and they loved my dance and game session, and they loved doing a mandala on the beach, which is great. You know, we don't have the buses anymore, so at the moment we don't go to the river, but we do go to the beach. So and they do their love in action in the garden. Anyway, the next one is on in September, so if you feel called, please join the one in September and do some dancing and playing with me. Yeah. I'm coming to a little glade here. Hey, some of you will be interested to hear that I had a viewing of my house last Tuesday, and they're coming back to view it again next Tuesday. And I thought, oh my God, don't tell me. I mean, it would take probably 6 months for it all to happen. But yeah, the shock of maybe one day I'll have to make up my mind. Some of you will laugh at the idea, having been on this little journey with me for 2 years. We can but smile. Oh, look at the light coming through there. And this is the tangled mess of the rhododendrons. And I always liken it to our minds. Get out of your monkey mind. Yeah, wake up to our what, I mean, I was actually, while we're on this topic, I was listening to a thing by Carolyn Mace the other day. Some of you will know Carolyn Mace. She's been to Findhorn many times, great friend of Findhorn. Now we're coming to the Loch. And she was saying that we're really coming into another era of humanity's development, and that we're finally open to our intuitive, mystical, psychic, spiritual, energetic, sensory system. And I think the more we all realize that we are all an energy system, and that this planet and the cosmos is all energy, and to tidy up our own energetic system. All right, you have a nice time dancing in the forest, Brant, with the nature spirits. They love a bit of a dance. But yeah, so for me, the awakening for myself is part of the realizing my own spiritual power and linked with my energetic power, and how to use that, how to use my consciousness to weave reality, and how my own unconscious default shadow patterns they create the reality around me, and when I change my consciousness, reality will shift. I don't know how many people realize that. Very quantum, sense of the quantum reality. That's what I'm waking up to more and more. I mean, here at Findhorn, the evolution of consciousness sort of runs off our lips, but I personally hadn't really come into relationship with it much till these last whiles. So here we are at Blair, Loch. Welcome to this beautiful little serene place. Whoop. Sorry, just dropped something. Oh, hi, Bonnie. Elaine, everybody makes a little fun when I go, oops. They count my number of oops. I don't mind. Anyway, now we come to the bit. Now see, the men have created this beautiful, and I don't know that it's just men, by the way, but I have only seen men working down here. But they've created this little walkway and that little bench and that little deck there. Very pretty little site. It's very pretty too. I don't know whether Diane's on today. I don't know whether some of you saw that Diane lost her beloved cat Kiku last week, which was a huge thing for her. So we're sending lots of love to Diane. And she's on the move again soon to a better location and a better place for her. So wishing Diane well in her next chapter. It's a lovely spot, isn't it? We've got another little sort of pontoon thing here. And then the newest thing I noticed, yes, Olive, tidying up our energetic system. Well, it's sort of, notice where we're leaking energy. I'm doing a lot of meditations lately about bringing my energy home, bringing all the energy that I've leaked to the outside and that I've put outside myself, bringing it home. And the meditations I do get me to visualize that energy outside myself and then bring it in through my sacrum, back into my body so that it's home. It's quite an interesting one. Now, I'm not sure what this is going to be, but we can come back at another time and see what it turns into. I like coming down and discovering what they've been up to. And see, Eileen today, she also talks about our spiritual power, and she says it needs to be switched on. We all have it, but it's like air. You need to breathe the air. Electricity, you need to turn it on. Spiritual power, you need to switch it on as well. You need to be aware of it. We need to be aware of it. And Carolyn May says something very like Eileen. God bless us not with a change of heart in the great world leaders to save our planet, but with a change in our own hearts to use our own power to save the planet. Like I often say, though, the planet will sort of go on. It's us that won't, unless we do something. Look, some nice reflections there. But even the ducks have disappeared for now. But tranquility personified. Yes, Peggy, yes, bringing our own energy back home through the sacrum, well, right down to the soles of our feet, between our hips, into our belly, solar plexus, up through the throat into our mind. Get that energy home, clean up any leaks. I've also been looking at my addictions. And I heard addictions defined as anything we do to avoid being in relationship to ourselves, and any pain we have, what are we avoiding? You know, what do we do in order to avoid being in relationship with ourselves? I love these questions. I guess it's all part of waking up, which is our quality for today. Oh, and then this is another thing that another little project we've seen before, that the men, this little sharing circle, very Findhorn-esque. And look, it's surrounded by these fantastic trees. So you've got the sharing circle in a very nice setting. Whee! Up and 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 up, up. On forever. Look at that. And and we talk, I can talk quite glibly about the evolution of consciousness, and then I think, well, how much am I living that in my daily life? And, Findhorn was always very much about that. Grounding the spiritual principles in daily life. That everything we meet is grist for the mill, and that reality is showing us every day where the work is. We might get triggered by somebody or something. Everything is a way of waking up. We can use it all. Hi, Diane. Everything becomes compost. And of course, looking at our own, taking accountability and responsibility for our own reactions, not pulling the blame on somebody else. It's nice to see a bit of colour. Look at this very big bee. I don't know whether you just came on, Diane, but I did share about Kiku and how we were all sending you lots of love, holding you in a big embrace for your next moves. Oh, that's nice of you to stop to greet us all. You can see it's quite windy today. And I'm going to take us up to another thing that the Friends of Blair Loch created. I've shown it to you once before, but it's worth another show. Oh, look, here I am. Yes, into the forest over there, but we're not going that way. Lovely dark and deep, Kendall. Okay. So now, how many of you remember this little walkway? Hi, Birgit. Good to see you. Oh, Irmgard, hello. We've just been at Blair Loch, but you can always go back and have a look at the beginning. We started off at one of the hides, walked through the rhododendrons, the flowers have all gone, been at the loch, and now this is this amazing, to me it looks very African, but it is very of the earth. They must have had a lot of fun gathering the materials for this. But I take my hat off to them. Look at that, isn't that remarkable? And Irmgard, you got home okay after your long delay at the airport. But look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I'll take you around the side here. And then, I mean, it's taken a lot of work. Oh, Ellen, you've just come on. We're at Blair Loch and I'm at this fantastic bird hide. Wait a minute, let me go back a little bit so you can see it. Very of the earth. And I'm the only one here. We are the only ones here, by the way. And then we open these little windows and no, there's no birds here at the moment, even though there's lots of little houses for them and little coconut. Oh, there was a bird just then. And sometimes there are squirrels. And sometimes there's lots of activity. Oh, a couple going to those little coconut shells. Oh, I don't know what's in them. Maybe the fat. Oh yeah, look, all the birds have arrived. They heard that we're here. Oh yeah, Kendall, you're right. Fabulous. The birds are not making any noise today, though. They're not chirruping. They're just flitting about. But isn't it great? And then we... Oh, look. Here's some couple of ducks have joined. Looking for bits of food on the ground. But then we close the little hatches here. Yeah, and Eileen, I mean, by the time I see you next week, it'll be the 31st of July. And I am going to put in the chat, well, I'm going to post on my Love Stream page the link for the big summer concert in the hall on the 1st of August, in which I will be part of a team of 9 women doing a spectacularly powerful Turkish harvest dance in full regalia. So, and we're quite early in the program. So I think the live stream is by donation, because the whole concert is a fundraising for the hall. As you know, the maintenance bill for the hall is quite a lot. So anyway, that's the 1st of August. It starts at, I think, 7:30 UK time. So you have to work that out for where you are. Oh, Loriana, hey, good to see you. I'm at Blair, Loch, and I'm just at this fairly new little bird sanctuary set in the woods. So cute. Lots of nuts and things, and yeah, anyway, I really like it. I really like that they've used all these local resources. But yeah, and I was reading, having had a very wonderful Barbara Svatina week with 40 people and an experience week with 18 people, and then following your calling with Mary Ingalls at the beginning of August, that's also full, I think, with 18 people. And it just feels like things are on the move, as I keep saying. And I came across this statement of vision for education, Findhorn's educational impulse for present and future generations, creating opportunities where people can experience deeper connection with themselves, one another, nature, and the living spirit that unites us all. Well said. There it is, the living spirit that unites us all. I really like that. So I'm just coming back down to the Loch side here. Very pretty. And there's a big sort of summer festival centering on the cafe on Saturday afternoon, I think from like 7 till midnight or something. Music and frolicking. Hopefully it's sunny. And here we are back at the Loch. So Peggy, I'm going to put the link to the live stream. And if you want me to send the link directly to you, send me an email, yvonne@yvonneCuneo.com. Peggy, I will send you the link personally, since I know you particularly want it. I think Diane too is interested to see me in my Turkish garb. Yeah, we had a sort of semi-dress rehearsal the other night, and it was fun. But yeah, beautiful to be down here with you. And Eileen, actually this week, the reason I actually picked the quality of awakening today, because Eileen refers to a slumbering giant awakening from its sleep. And there'll be no stopping this slumbering giant. And she's referring to an awareness of our own divinity. And I mean, what does that mean? They're lovely words, but what does that mean in practical terms? This awakening to our own divinity. And waking up to this oneness of consciousness. We also have to clean up our own act, as I said earlier, energetically. Yeah, what a beautiful spot. Carolyn Mace also says, this message of that one is of the whole. We've never taken that high mystical truth and actually absorbed it or lived it or applied it. Gee, what would politics look like if we applied the fact that we're all part of the whole? And she says maybe the invisible part of us has more authority than the physical. And everything that has power. Yeah, Carolyn's great at saying these things. Anyway, I'm going to leave you here for today. It's 4:30 here. And I got up very early this morning to take somebody to the airport. So I'm going to go home and have a little nap. And yes, I did mention earlier, for those who came on a bit later, that I went to see the Odyssey last night. And of course, a reminder, if you go to see it, the scenes where the army is in the forest, Odysseus and his men are in the forest, that is Colburn Forest, just across from Findhorn. And when they run out of the forest down onto the beach and jump into their ships, that's the beach on the other side from Findhorn. And the Viking boats, there's one other scene where they come into a sort of ruined castle up on a cliff, and that's Findlater Castle, which is just along the coast past Cullen. So the local audience is quite interested in the film. But yeah, as I said, it has a deep symbolic, there's one moment where he's told to just surrender and let go. And I think that's really an important message to all of us too. So I'm going to leave you with this quality of awakening to let it percolate within us all this week. Yeah. So lots of love to you, and I'll see you next Friday. It's been a lovely walk around Loch with you all, and welcome, Elaine. And I hope to see you again. And hi, Ellen, over there in the Netherlands. And hello to all of you. And I hope the forest fires have gone away a bit from Canada. I'm very sorry about that. Okay. Mwah. Bye.